Hey, so just an update on the object database project I've been working on. I Last weekend I had to think about how I wanted to store the individual transactions in the transaction log, and I think what I've been sort of struggling with is that I want to be able to um, reclaim space when after transactions have completed, so I can compact all of them together and um, not use too much space. And what I'd sort of been wrestling with is that uh, even if I have a free list there, that I will have to potentially perpetually increase the size of the data store there. So what I've been thinking is that I'm going to split transactions out into smaller files, um, and potentially sort of use that as a mechanism for uh, collecting together lumps of data, and so different defragmenting parts like individual files away, and then finally deleting them from the disk. Um, Now, this is what I am sort of thinking. What that means with that offset pointer that I talked about last week is that probably what I will want instead of an offset in the file, but also, like, yes, an offset in the file, but also a segment offset which will indicate which file something is. And I think that I can probably get away with a hex file, which is like a 64-bit number turned into a hex. Um, yeah, and going to see how that goes. So this is sort of a little bit like an idea of what I would expect it to look like. So I've got the root record, which will be in a file called something like 0.0000.dat or something, and it will have an entry that points to the free list, and also, well, maybe not even the free list, I'm not sure. Also to the transaction root of the most recent transaction. And that transaction root record will be a B tree record, and it will point to some schema nodes. And essentially, we'll have a B tree of the latest schema records that can refer to older schema records somehow. And also these will point to table records. So I'm not exactly sure how this will work. I think that so somehow you're going to want to from the most recent transaction root find the top of the table that you're interested in, navigate to the index for that table, and then get through down to the individual rows in the table. So I'm not 100% sure how that will be laid out on disk, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to want individual files, which then can be defragmented away, compressed, and so have a way of reclaiming space. Now this week, what I had a look at was a I wanted to get a clear idea in my mind how the query interpreter will interact with the transaction store and the rows. And I've sort of got this idea now that you've got this transaction log root class that you call into to get a transaction, and this will create one of these files that we talked about there. And then within that file, you'll be able to find the top of the schema, and then from there, you'll be able to find a table and work through the tables, and then from the table, you'll be able to find an index and seek through the index, and then you'll be able to find a row. And once you're at the row, you'll be able to insert, update, or delete at that row. So, like, you'll be able to insert at a particular point in the index. But I'm still thinking, well, we're going to want to insert the row into the table, and then as part of the transaction, you'll want to update all of the indexes that are relevant for that, and then perhaps fail. So you're still thinking through that stuff, but I think that I'm sort of through the writer's block that I've been having, and sort of starting to feel a little bit more assured about the direction, but no real concrete actual implementation work this week. So anyway, that's just what I've been up to. Drop me a line if you like what you've seen here. Happy to talk through. Really love to hear some feedback, and I'll talk to you next time.